there are so many alternate forms in Pokemon now, and there are not just so many alternate forms, but there are so many different types of alternate forms. It's not like you just have things like, oh, there's Giratina Altered and Giratina Origin. There's Shaman Land and Shaman Sky. There's Rotom, and then there's Rotom Heat, Wash, Fridge, Fan, and Mow. You know, that's not the case. You have things like Mega Evolutions and regional forms, and even, Ultra Necrozma. So, besides that, you also have things like cross-generation evolutions, which are not exactly the same thing, but I think they're in the same ballpark for the purpose of this, thought experiment exercise thing. Because they are expansions on a Pokemon's mode of existence, and apologies for making it sound so highfalutin. But that basically is the case, because in Gen 1, Onix is a fully evolved Pokemon, and then in Generation 2, it's like, oh no, Steelix is an expansion of Onix. So, what we are going to be doing in these next couple videos is going back in time, of sorts, in a way, sorry, that was appalling, and see, okay, what if, when Slowbro came into existence, it also got its Mega form? And then for the regional forms, oh, well, when Slowking came into existence, what if it also had Galarian Slowking, Or what if when there was, or the cross-generation evolutions, that was actually where these, the idea for these videos came from, because people were asking for Gen 2 Ursaluna, and I was like, yeah, that's an interesting one. And even like the Paradox Pokemon, like what if Iron Leaves came out alongside Virizion in Generation 5, that kind of thing. So we will be covering all of those, and we are starting off today with the Mega Evolutions. So the first thing to make clear is that the special stat in Generation 1 encompasses both special attack and special defense. So whenever you're transporting a future Pokemon back in time, then it's not clear which one would be made into the special stat, which of its special attack or which of its special defense would be made into the special stat. It's like, for example, if you transport Blissey back into the RBY Team Builder, then... Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Yeah, if you transport Blissey back into the RBY Team Builder, then it doesn't have a special stat akin to its monster special defense of 135 in Gens 2 and beyond. Instead of 75, which is the same as its special attack in Gen 2. But you think to yourself, that doesn't make sense, because Chansey has a huge special stat in Gen 1. So what we're going to have to do here is apply, common sense. So, if you put Mega Slowbro in the Gen 1 Team Builder, then you see that its special stat becomes a Mega Slowbro special attack stat, 130. And for the purpose of this, I think we have to assume that it's going to keep regular Slowbro's special stat. I mean, maybe not, because the whole purpose of a Mega is to get a bunch of stat boosts, and like plus a base 100 and everything, across several stats. And if you just make Mega Slowbro have the special attack stat as the special stat, then it becomes unbelievably broken. Like, absurdly so. I guess we should also mention that for the purposes of this, Mega Stones don't have... there are no held items in RBY, so we will just assume that there's a mechanic that says, do you want to Mega Evolve your Slowbro? So, yeah. Now, if you just keep Slowbro's base 80 special defense, then it becomes a lot more palatable. So, the only difference there is that Slowbro has 110 defense, and Mega Slowbro has 180. So it is absolutely unbreakable on the physical side. I mean, ridiculously so. Nothing else changes. Like, its attack, who cares? Its HP doesn't change, its speed doesn't change. So it's really just a matter of special defense or not. So if it does have that base special defense stat or if it does have an 80 base special stat, then you're going to be dealing with it mostly the same way, you know, in the sense of trying to crit your Thunderbolts against it. But yeah, I mean, even I don't think that would be very fair, even with just the defense boost, because now it's got Cloyster's defense of 180, but with a much better HP stat. You know, 393 as opposed to 303. That's a world of difference. So, you know, even critting it multiple times with Slowbro, or with Tauros, excuse me, is not really going to do much. So you are pretty much, you are not nearly as able to maneuver around it with physical attackers, which is still reasonable to do. Like, for example, Rhydon hits Slowbro very hard with Earthquake. But against Mega Slowbro, then that line is not nearly going to be as reliable. So I think even just the absurd defense boost would be maybe too much. So yeah, then there's also... But if you give it the special attack boost, I think it's just absolutely outrageous. It becomes so unbelievably strong after just one amnesia. Even without the amnesia, it's going to be hitting pretty hard with it, because it's got a special attack, or special attack stat that's almost Alakazam tier, you know, with this insane physical bulk, and it also has incredible special defense at the same time. So now, you know, even like a Zapdos Thunderbolt, you know, notwithstanding a crit, is not going to be doing that much damage comparatively. You know, before it was, you know, putting the fear of death into it, but with both you're hitting insanely hard and pretty much unbreakable on both sides of the spectrum, you know, even without a boost. So yeah, I think 130 special Mega Slowbro has to get the boot. Would be very interesting in Ubers, where it's going to be facing off against like Mewtwo's and Mews. But yeah, I don't think it would have any place in OU. And even with just the base 180, I think it would be kind of questionable for how... Although, if it's not changing anything in terms of its damage output, then that also leaves other ways to play around it. Although, you know, even regular Slowbro can kind of spiral out of control in RBY as it is now. So, who is to say? I think it'd be questionable, though. Also, I should mention now, before we get on to the Mega Charizards, that we can't include anything that doesn't exist in Gen 1. Because I think that's... I mean, maybe if there's like a special case, like, okay, this really needs to exist. But other than that, like, obviously no abilities or anything, but like we can't even give Mega Charizard X Dragon Claw, because it just did not exist back then. So I don't think it's inconsistent lore-wise or anything, because there's a very rich history. You know, maybe not rich is the right, that might not be the right word, but there's a long history of Game Freak designing Pokemon for a certain thing and then not giving them the tools to do that certain thing. You know, think of the physical water attackers for Alligator, Gyarados, Kingler in the first couple generations. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch. Anyway, so we've got our regular Charizard, which already has some niche because it's got a very good speed stat. Well, okay, when I say some niche, I mean technically you can use it. I'm not saying use it in RBY. It is not good at all. But if you were going to, you would do things like SD Hyper Beam with Fire Blast. And yes, you would just use Moltres. But with Mega Charizard X, it's different because now it's got the same attack stat as Kingler. Kingler is just... Yeah, Charizard gets... I just said it. Sorry, I was having a moment there. But yeah, Kingler has a niche in RBY for having being the strongest Swords Dancer in the game with a base 130 attack stat. So after an SD, it's threatening to OHKO Chansey, for example. So with Zard X, then you've got that same trait, except you also have a much better speed stat. You have different typing, so you are no longer going to be fearing... What am I thinking of? Thunderbolt. That's a big one. And because this weird thing in RBY where fire does not resist ice... You know, I remember when I was playing Gen 1 as a kid in-game, I was like, fire resists ice. Why is Charizard taking super effective damage from this blizzard? But that's just the way it is. So, Zard X is still going to be weak to blizzard, unfortunately. But hey, you know, you change the Zapdos matchup entirely. You've got a huge attack stat for that. You've got Earthquake, big SD Earthquake as well, which is really good. So Rhydon doesn't necessarily stump you. And you've also got a special or a Fire Blast, which is stronger than Moltres'. Moltres' Fire Blast, tied with Zapdos Thunder and Articuno Blizzard, is the strongest special attack in Gen 1, stronger than Mewtwo Psychic. And now Megazard X comes along and just like, nah. I'm faster. I'm stronger than that with Fire Blast, and I'm also a physical attacker. So this is, one of the nastiest mixed attackers in the game. So, yeah, I also it has an incredible. I think you would have to give it the base 130 special stat, just because you're not going to keep. Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I think a lot of these are going to have bonkers special stats, and not that Megazard X's special defense was bad or anything, but this makes it incredibly bulky on both sides of the spectrum because it's got a very good physical defense stat, so it's not like you can just knock it over with Body Slam or Hyper Beam. It's going to take those quite well, and I think it's fairly self-explanatory. I would not be surprised if this one was too much. Now, Zard Y, I mean, talk about overkill with Fire Blast. You've got an enormous special stat. What's Mewtwo's special in Gen 1 again? Is it like 160 or something? 154. Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, Megazard Y is stronger than Mewtwo. So that's cool. And it's got Fire Blast, which is stronger attack than Psychic. And it's still got that good speed stat. I mean, RBY is getting a lot faster, let me tell you. It's only... Oh, and it also has Fire Spin, which is not the same as in Gens 2 and beyond. It basically functions as a flinching move. You can switch out of it, but then you switch out and you can't move on the turn after. Wrap and Fire Spin and Clamp are fairly controversial in RBY. And especially because it's like, oh, it's kind of like a Jirachi Ironhead thing where it's like, oh, the opponent is not in KO range? Well, okay, let me just Fire Spin them a few turns. And this is why Moltres is very good, incidentally, because it can knock things into Hyper Beam range. Oh, and in Gen 1, another fun thing is that Fire Blast is a 30% burn rate. So with Zard X and Zard Y alike, then you're also burning half the things that are trying to switch into you, which makes it, and then you pair that burn. I mean, conventional RBY wisdom was you don't want to burn the opposing Pokemon because then you can't freeze them or paralyze them or sleep them. But now if you have Fire Spin, it's like, oh well, I would love to weaken. I would love to pair burn and Fire Spin to knock them into Hyper Beam range. Charizard also has a very good attack stat, so you could Hyper Beam to finish off Chanseys more easily. And then the last slot, I don't know, you run Earthquake, maybe? Does it have anything to deal with Starmie? I think it would appreciate that. Okay, maybe not so much. It doesn't have agility like Moltres either. But, hey, it has Reflect, so that defense stat might appreciate it. I don't know, you can run Earthquake for Zard X. Actually, yeah, you probably do want to run Earthquake for Zard X. Because think about it, even if these all get banned from OU, then Ubers has many similarities to OU, and they would be in Ubers, so just... If you want to see what these would be like, then you would just be playing a very new form of RBY Ubers, a very interesting one. So yeah, I think you could probably run the same set as Zard X on Zard Y, just with a different typing, and of course there's the I don't know what Zard variant my opponent is running when it first gets sent out, which is fun. But yeah, I'm sure you could run the same sets on... Like I'm sure Zard X could also make good use of Fire Spin. So, yeah, that would be kind of bonkers. Now, Blastoise. Sorry, I skipped over. So yeah, Blastoise is just, good stats for sure, but kind of an unremarkable water Pokemon. And I think, as great as these stats are, the 135 special, the great defense, and the even a decent attack for Hyper Beam, I think that if there is going to be a Mega that is palatable in RBY, in OU, I mean, then you are probably going to start with Mega Blastoise. I think there's several others Mega Pokemon that would be manageable in RBY, but I think because yes, the stats are very good, but its move pool is just not that insane. I mean, what's it good? It can Reflect and Rest, maybe. It can Seismic Toss. It can Hyper Beam. It's got almost the same attack stat as Zard Y, I believe. Yeah, 104 versus 103 for Blastoise. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. It can counter. That's pretty nice, but yeah, I don't know. Its move pool just doesn't really have or give it much to work with. So yeah, I think you're just going to be... Oh, I forgot on the Charizard, you can also run Fire Blast Flamethrower, I'm sure, if you're worried about getting stalled out by Recover Starmie or something. But yeah, with Mega Blastoise, I don't know, you just run Surf, Ice Beam... Like, yeah, its special is very good on the offensive side, but it's, I don't know, it's necessarily going to be enough. So, yeah, I don't even know what you would run besides a Counter, Reflect, Rest, S-Toss, Hydro Pump. I mean, it'd be a good Pokemon to get on the field and start looking for freezes, especially because its hard-hitting Surfs mean that something like Cloyster isn't going to want to switch in to dodge them, or a Jinx, but... Yeah, I'm not really seeing too... I mean, I might be overlooking something very obvious, but I'm not really seeing much use for Mega Blastoise. Maybe you run... This sounds silly, but maybe you run Tail Whip so that Chansey doesn't want to stay in on you, and then you hit something else really hard with your powerful Surf. Maybe. Speaking of palatable Megas, the next one is, of course, Venusaur, which has a very welcome stat boost, of course, and becomes incredibly bulky, but... It also, like Blastoise, it suffers from not having a healing move in Gen 1. There's no synthesis. And, yeah, I really don't see, I guess it can growth. That's pretty cool. But there's not even Giga Drain in Gen 1. You'd have to be using Mega Drain. And Razor Leaf's high crit ratio is nice, but goes against growth. So I think you would probably just use Sleep, Razor Leaf, just because it hits... It's like, actually... Okay, I take it back. This might be pretty nasty. Because Victory Bell is already a pretty good Pokemon in RBY. And yes, Venusaur lacks... not Roar, Wrap. But Razor Leaf is hitting a lot harder than Victory Bell. Because Victory Bell is doing it... It's an auto crit move pretty much off of 100 special attack. And Mega Venusaur has 122. It's also very bulky on both sides of the spectrum. Obviously, its Psychic weakness is going to hold it back, but... I'm sure you could pull off some stuff with it. It doesn't have any... Yeah, its move pool is quite barren. But I'm sure you could also, like... Yeah, Sleep, Razor Leaf, Swords Dance, Hyper Beam. And Alakazam's not going to want to take a +2 Hyper Beam. Or Chansey. So yeah, I think this Venusaur would be pretty good. And obviously, a SD Hyper Beam also lets you do something against opposing Mega Venusaur. I think its biggest problem is being kind of worthless against Charizard. Yeah, it doesn't even have Earthquake for Zard X. I mean, what? You can Toxic or Poison Powder them. That might actually be not bad. But yeah, I don't know if you would get that much usage. It's not that it's a bad Pokemon. It's that I mean, maybe if Zard X gets banned. Yeah. Anyway, Arrow and Mega Arrow. The Arrow's problem in RBY and GSC for that matter is that it doesn't have Rock Slide for some reason. And since we're not, being that revisionist, then Mega Arrow is incredibly fast, has an amazing crit rate with its enormous speed stat. That's one of the best things about it. It's got a good attack stat, but still no move pool to speak of. I mean, Double Edge sucks in Gen 1. It's 100 base power, not even 120. And what else does it even use? So, yeah, if anything, you would run Mega Arrow as a bulkier version of Arrow's quote-unquote niche in Gen 1 that already exists, which is to wall Snorlax with its typing. Which it doesn't even do very reliably because then you fight Amnesia Snorlax and it's just bad. So yeah, Mega Arrow unfortunately sucks. Unless you really want to get use out of Sky Attack or something, which, But it doesn't even have Earthquake. So yeah, unfortunately very bad. Gyarados... great bulk, physical bulk especially, and it's getting its worst special attacks. I guess that's following the trend, because if it got its special defense, it'd be 100. Wait, no, I take it back. Gyarados has 100 special in RBY. Yeah, so, no, we are going to give Mega Gyarados 100 special. So it's going to be interesting for sure. It's got a good speed stat. It's really bulky, and its attack stat, I mean, is enormous. I think it's the highest we've seen so far. So Hyper Beam is going to be pretty nasty. And normal resist won't want to take its powerful Hydro Pump. And then you've got Ice Beam, or let's just go with Blizzard. You got to go all out. And you know what? You even put Thunderbolt on it for Starmie. And I think this is a pretty good Pokemon. Just an all-out attacker. And, it's no longer water flying. So it's not... Okay, the Dark type doesn't exist in Gen 1, so we don't make it... We just make it pure water, let's say. But either way, that's fine, because water, dark... I mean, that'd be crazy. It gains a psychic immunity. But no, it's just pure water, and that means it is no longer quadruple weak to Thunderbolt, so it can take on Starmie, it can even take a hit from Zapdos, and it's going to hit him back hard. So yeah, I kind of like Mega Gyarados. Yeah, I don't know. I think you could probably mess around with the moveset. Maybe you don't need Hydro Pump. Maybe you run something like Body Slam instead, just to take advantage of an okay crit rate. But it's more for doing good physical damage to Chansey before you are ready to Hyper Beam it. So you're not just flailing trying to freeze it, or if it's paralyzed. Yeah, so this is kind of like this Gyarados is kind of like a Lapras in a way. It plays very similarly to it. So I think these last few Megas we've looked at, once you get past the insane brokenness of the first couple, and maybe you kick those out to Ubers and you start playing a more reasonable form of Megas and RBY, then this seems like a more viable option because immediately I think it's just the Charizards are going to dominate everything. Maybe Slowbro is kind of stupid, but yeah, I think now we're getting to the more reasonable ones. Okay, now Mega Gengar. Now this one's interesting because Gengar is awesome because it's very fast with Sleep. And it's the fastest Sleep user. And then it explodes. Yeah. And that's not going to change. Its explosion being weak is not going to change because Mega Gengar doesn't have a higher attack stat. But what is going to change is that... Also what's not going to change is the fact that it doesn't have a good move pool offensively. Physical special split, no stab, and its move pool is kind of barren, so it's just like, Nightshade and Psychic and Thunderbolt and Mega Drain and stuff like that. You fill it up with stuff like Confuse Ray sometimes. So, yeah, you're not really going to be hitting hard with it, even with... But what does change is that Gengar now has an amazing speed stat, meaning that it's outrunning... It has more utility because base Gengar speed ties Tauros, and that can lead to some interesting interactions later in the game. But now it outspeeds it. It outspeeds Starmie, it outspeeds Alakazam. That's really big. Now, I don't know that Gengar's utility is necessarily going to change that much, because it's still not doing that much damage without exploding, but it definitely does have some more utility, because that higher speed set doesn't just give it more opportunities to outrun things, but it also lets it... it gives it a higher crit rate. So now those Thunderbolts and Psychics, I think Psychic mostly because you're looking for special drops, are really going to hurt, especially because it has such an enormous special attack stat. Now these moves aren't stab, so it's not going to blow your mind exactly, but would definitely be worth exploring. I can't really see it as Uber. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Mega Beedrill, I think, now while it has an insane stat jump, it has an even higher speed stat than Gengar, so it's going to have an enormous crit rate and a huge attack stat. So you're thinking, okay, this thing's going to be scary. Pin Missile, I mean, funny as it is, I do think Mega Beedrill might have a niche because its Pin Missile is now... I mean, okay, it sucks that it's 14 base power, like really, 14. So if you hit twice, it's a 28 base power move. Which is... not that two hits of like a Bullet Seed or anything are necessarily going to crush things, but at the same time, I mean, 14, that's just pathetic. But it is super effective against Psychic types, which does not exist in RBY at this point, meaningfully anyway. I know Pin Missile exists, but all the Psychics are going to destroy you anyway, and base Beedrill is so weak that it doesn't even matter that it's super effective. So, you could Swords Dance... oh wait, what am I looking at Pin Missile for? Twin Needle. Yes, Oh, it only hits twice, so it's 50 base power, that's why. Okay, well, seeing as Beedrill's move pool is so barren, I think you can fit both. Pin Missile, Twin Needle, which is 75 base power with Stab, which is not amazing, but hey, it's an early generation. And Hyper Beam. I mean, yes, walled by, like Rhydon and Mega Gengar, but... Look, all I'm saying is 150 base attack Swords Dance, and even before the Swords Dance, you have such potential for power because of your crit rate. That's something. So I'm thinking this is either going to be pretty good or complete garbage, but I am leaning towards pretty good. I mean, it can't switch into anything. I mean, its bulk is abysmal. A 15 special stat. It's going to get like O-code by Chansey Ice Beam or something. But like all I'm saying is it is going to hit hard, especially because if you crit one of a multi-hit move, then you crit each one of them in Gen 1. So that's why Jolteon used to use Pin Missile, because, you know, you hit Exeggutor and you crit and it's basically dead. So if you, with that, that's what really, I was overlooking that at first. With the high crit rate, the amazing crit rate it has, then I think it's got to be around, it's got to be over 30 actually. You know, not by a lot, but a little over. So with that amazing crit rate, then suddenly you are critting, you know, even if you just get a 2-hit, then you crit both of them. That's pretty good damage. Or with Twin Needle, for example. So, yeah, and Hyper Beam, obviously. So, yeah, okay, you know what? That's going to be awesome. Can I have the video keep playing, please? Yeah, so I'm going to say that Mega Beedrill will have a niche in RBY. Isn't that lovely? Pidgeot, the most nondescript thing ever. Got good bulk. And Mega Pidgeot gets a special attack boost because it's supposed to be using Hurricane, but there's no Hurricane in Gen 1. There's no special normal or flying moves in Gen 1 because there's no physical special split. So it's going to be good at taking hits, but what does it do in return? Nothing. So yeah, this one kind of sucks. Mega Pinsir. Alright, so Pinsir goes... Pinsir's actually fairly okay. Like, for a low-rank niche Pokemon, I think Pinsir's one of the better ones in RBY. And with a Mega, then it gets much faster. It's outspeeding Charizards and Zapdos, which is big. It's also a lot stronger, from 125 base attack to 155. And it's much physically bulkier as well. Now, it does gain a quadruple weakness to Rock Slide and a weakness to Blizzard and Thunderbolt because it goes from Bug to Bug Flying. But for that power, I don't know. I mean, you got to watch out because its special is really bad, so it's going to really get crumpled by even like unstabbed T-Bolt. But yeah, I mean, and on the physical side of things, it's just a monster, and you pair it with paralysis support, and you're in business. Now, its move pool, obviously, you're going to SD Hyper Beam. A lot of Swords Dance Hyper Beam among these Gen 1 Megas. So, and it doesn't get Earthquake in Gen 1. Okay, so I forget, what is that move people use? Submit? Oh yeah, it does have Submission, so you hit the normals, not just Chansey, but Snorlax and Tauros as well, super effectively. And yeah, the recoil and the accuracy suck, but from that attack stat, that's pretty good, with a good crit rate to boot. I kind of like Submission here. And then the last can be, I don't know, Slash. So, yeah, Slash, so you have an auto crit. Yeah, so you have a 140 base power move because it's auto crit. You know, Slash and SD don't go together, but if you want to boost up and sweep, then you SD, of course. And if you just want to do immediate damage, then you Slash. And Submission also hits Rhydon hard, which would otherwise wall you. So, yeah, I mean, completely walled by Mega Gengar, of course, but hey, so are some Snorlax sets. So, yeah, that's a Mega Pinsir would be also very decent. Mega Kanga. Now, this one I think might be kind of crazy, because regular Kanga is already considered like, you know, a bad Tauros replacement, which is still pretty good. And even though it's not going to have Parental Bond, just having, you know, just being a normal type, having Body Slam, EQ, Hyper Beam, Blizzard is going to be nuts. Because its special isn't good, but its HP is great. Its physical bulk is absolutely bonkers. It's got a good attack stat. It's got a better attack stat than Tauros. And with base 100 speed, a good crit rate, the same as Zapdos. That base 100 speed stat is suddenly becoming very crowded. You know, so it's going to be hitting... actually, this thing hits harder than Snorlax, and with a better crit rate to boot. Yeah, so I'm starting to get a little wary of Mega Kangaskhan as well. You know, because we think, oh, the broken thing about Mega Kangaskhan is Parental Bond, and obviously it is. But in Gen 1, even when you take that away, the metagame is so suited to it being such a big, bruising normal type that it's pretty scary pretty quickly. So, yeah, I like Mega Kanga here. I'm not going to go out and say it's broken, but I'm going to say that it's on the radar after the Charizards. Now, speaking of things that probably are also broken, we will get to that in a second because I'm going to take one of my famous bathroom breaks. But then we have Mega Alakazam. Alright, that was a bit of a longer break because I watched this movie called Relaxer recently. And it's a great movie, but it's about a guy who does not get off the couch. Like at all. Like the entire movie. Until maybe the end? I don't want to give it away. But it's a great movie. But, you know, he even after the entire movie, he's sitting on the couch and his friends come in. Like, hey, are you... his friends, you know, that's a nice way to put it. But they're like, hey, are you still not going to get off the couch? It's been 6 months. Literally, it's been 6 months. Or maybe even more. And he's like, no, I'm just going to relax a little more. So, you know, that was obviously a terrifying little image to stuck in my head. So after I got out of the bathroom, I had to do some push-ups. Not out of vanity, just to, you know, get the blood flowing a little bit. And remind myself, I will not be that guy. And then I had a protein bar and some water. So, I've got my energy back, and I am not being lethargic. So, Mega Alakazam, very broken, the end. I mean, come on, what is there to say about this? It's the exact same thing as regular Zam, but it's just so much faster, and I think it's a little physically bulkier, too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's actually much physically bulkier. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not saying it's a paragon of, you know, hyper beam taking or anything, but... everything counts. I mean, 20 base defense is nothing to sneeze at. You really notice those, like, little differences. You know, like when, it's like when you have a Pokemon with very low special defense, like Hariyama in Advance, and you give it, you know, like, I don't know, 80 special defense EVs, and it makes such a world of difference when the numbers are that low. So I think the same would apply for Mega Alakazam's base defense. So, but obviously the thing here is that it's unbelievably fast. 150, is anything matching that? That's like Mega Arrow? No, it outruns Mega Beedrill, Gengar. Yeah, so it would be tied for the fastest Mega. It's easily the fastest good Mega, and that means its crit rate is through the roof, and unlike Mega Aerodactyl, it actually has a stab to take advantage of it. That stab also happens to be the best attacking move in the game, the most spammable. So it's got an insane crit rate, with Stab Psychic and, you know, the Psychic generation. So it's, you know, critting and special dropping all over the place. And it's also coming from 175 base special. So, yeah, this thing gets banned on the first day, I think. I think this would get axed before the Charizards even. Goodness. Yeah, this, that's absolutely obscene. That makes Mewtwo look like a joke. So yeah, that's that. And now the two Mega Mewtwo's, of course. I was gonna say, is it a question of whether? Well, I mean, actually, man, like Mega Mewtwo X. Okay, yes, it no longer has a psychic resistance, but you can also no longer take it on with Chansey because it's got a gigantic attack stat, 190 base attack, and stab on submission. So forget, you know, using Chansey, or even if this is the world with where we also have the cross-generation evolutions and Blissey is in Gen 1, yeah, forget that. No, it's absolutely dead. And then the rest is just your usual, I mean, look, Amnesia on this thing. You can run Amnesia on it, sure. Amnesia, you know, Thunder Wave, Recover, Blizzard, Blizzard or Ice Beam, you know, Thunderbolt, whatever you want. Yeah, Mega Mewtwo X is nuts. And it doesn't have a speed boost. And, of course, Mega Mewtwo Y does have a speed boost. It has 194 base special. So, yeah, RBY Ubers is going to be very interesting. I guess, you know, the question isn't, does, how would RBY Ubers look like with all these Megas? It's, do the Mega Mewtwo's make it so that anything goes comes into existence? Because otherwise, like, yeah, you'll ban the Charizards and Alakazam from OU, but what reason is there to use those Megas when the clear best Mega is just Mega Mewtwo Y, which is an upgrade of what is already the most outrageous Pokemon in the game? Like, instead you would want the game to be more Mewtwo plus good Mega Pokemon, you know, as opposed to, you know, RBY Ubers as is, but with Mega Mewtwo Y, making it even more hostile to everything. I don't know, I think Mega Mewtwo Y might be pretty outrageous. I mean, that attack stat is huge for Chansey, etc., but I mean, the special stat is just so frightening. Good God. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Does that 999 is in a single turn? I think it does, yeah. I think even regular Mewtwo doesn't do that. Yeah, let me check that real quick. I think it comes close, but I don't think it actually 999s. No, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, no, but Mega Mewtwo Y is instantly at that 999, which is, for those who don't know, is the stat cap in Gens 1 and 2. So yeah, Mega Mewtwo Y, I think gets canned from Ubers. Mega Mewtwo X, honestly, probably. Maybe. I guess the question is Mega Mewtwo X better than, like, the Charizards, for example? I guess only the Charizards are really the broken one. Maybe Slowbro. So yeah. And just to recap of how these Pokemon would do in other generations, because we mostly want to focus on the generation of Origin, but Slowbro gets a lot worse in Gen 2 because it's an amazing wall, but it no longer has Amnesia boosting the special stat, because it's now special attack and special defense. So, I don't know, I think Aero still sucks. Let me just go through the bad ones first. Aero still sucks. Venusaur is interesting, but probably not too interesting. Blastoise can rapid spin, and they have lefties now for recovery, but I don't know. Gyarados, similar. I think all in all, it's just kind of an upgrade on power creep. Like Pidgeot probably gets banned from NU or so. Actually, no, it doesn't. It's strong and bulky, but it doesn't hit very hard at all because it's all about its special attack stats. So, yeah, Pinsir with SDHP bug, that's pretty nasty. Okay, I think Gengar gets banned from OU, excuse me. That, it no longer has that crit rate. But it's got, an actual move pool now with Ice Punch, Thief, Stronger Explosion because its base power gets boosted in Gen 2. Yeah, and the spin blocking and everything, and spike support. Oh yeah, no thank you. The Charizards, I don't know. I think I do want to get to the other megas, so I'm going to leave this. Maybe come back to it and see, like, oh, look at the RBY megas in Gens 2 and beyond, for example. But for now, I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, the Gen 2 megas. All right, in Gen 2 OU, obviously. So Ampharos is a good UU Pokemon for sure, very good. And there have been theories about its viability in OU, but it's kind of gimmicky. So the main thing about Mega Ampharos is that the Megas now have their held items, of course. So that means they can't hold leftovers, and that is big in GSC. On the other hand, this is also the generation where Sleep Talk calls rest successfully, so maybe not that big a deal. Now, Amphi is not going to have Dragon Stab here. Actually, it doesn't even have Dragon Breath. No. So it's Dragon typing. I don't even know if it's helpful. I mean, it gives it a quadruple electric resist, but also makes it weak to HP Ice. So I don't know. But other than that, actually, you know what? No, it gives it a water resistant. Well, it also makes it weak to Ice Beam. So, but hey, the water resistance helps out against Vaporeon. Vaporeon doesn't love running Ice Beam. Helps out against Starmie, same thing. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And it's got a better special defense. Yeah, it's got great special defense. And better physical defense too. I don't think it's going to use its increased attack stat at all. And I don't think it cares about its lower speed. But it does love that really strong Thunderbolt or Thunder. It's really going to be raining them down on Snorlax. Maybe it could use it has a pretty decent, actually no, I take it back. It would maybe use that decently powered attack stat for Dynamic Punch, like some mixed attackers use on, like in general, like Dragonite or Gengar, for example, or Tyranitar. So yeah, it's got a good attack stat for D-Punch. I mean, look, if Gengar can make use of it with that attack stat, then Amphi definitely can. Mega Amphi, of course. So yeah, and then it's got Fire Punch. Does it have Ice Punch for... No, it doesn't. How does it have Fire Punch and not Ice Punch? Come on. Yeah, Fire Punch is interesting because it lets it run... it lets it destroy Steelix without worrying about... what am I thinking of? While still being able to run HP Ice for grounds. Although I am thinking maybe it wants to run HP Water just to really lay the smack down on Golem and Rhydon and Tyranitar. No, Thunderbolt hits harder. Excuse me. What am I thinking? I think it mostly is just Golem then, yeah. Because what water am I thinking, or what ground am I thinking of that it would really prefer Ice for? Because Fire Punch also hits Grass types, so yeah. Yeah, I think something like this would be very good. Just an all-out attacker. I mean, it's not going to recover at all, so you just kind of treat it like a Marowak, which is already fine. So, and it hits very hard. It's very difficult to wall. It's got good defensive utility. So, yeah, and you could obviously throw Thunder on it over Thunderbolt, and I mean, really make them... Yeah, I think ground types become more important. Actually, I think, what's Golem's speed stat? Is it like 55? No, it's 45. So yeah, no, Mega Ampharos speed ties Golem. So that speed drop is actually very significant. Yeah, and ground types just become more important in general to try and take Amphi on. The bigger reason to not run HP Water is that it cuts into your bulk because of the way IVs, called DVs in Gen 2, the way they function. Like if you're on HP Fire, your HP stat drops to like base 3 or 3, as opposed to the max of 15. HP Water messes with that bulk too. Whereas HP Ice and HP Bug, they're the easiest to slap on because they least affect your bulk. Whereas, you see, they just both give you a slightly lower defense stat, which is totally fine. So, and Mega Amphi actually still has a very good defense stat, so that would probably be the main reason. And I mean, it's not like these grounds really want to, not like Golem really wants to take its HP Ice anyway. I mean, taking it from Zapdos at base 125 is one thing. Taking it from Gengar's slightly stronger Ice Punch at base 130 is another thing. But base 165, I don't know. Yeah, so Mega Heracross. So Heracross's problem is in Gen 2 is that it has no coverage. It doesn't have SD. It doesn't have Rock Slide. It doesn't have Fighting Stab outside of Reversal. So I don't know that Heracross or that Mega Heracross is really going to be that good while making up for it, especially because it doesn't have lefties. But I mean, if we're talking about Marowak style Pokemon, and it is slower, although I don't think that's going to make a huge difference. I think it's slower than Nidoking now. Was it? Or no, it's speed tied Nidoking before, right? And Suicune, but I think it's less important because Mega Heracross is also a lot bulkier. I mean, its defense goes from 75 to 115. Its special defense goes from 95 to 105. Obviously, some of this is offset by the lack of lefties, but I mean, hey, that's good. That's a big difference. And also, its base 125 attack stat becomes 185. And I cannot emphasize enough how stupid that makes Mega Horn. I mean, the damage it's going to do to Snorlax is just unreal. The problem is, again, you know, its coverage is Earthquake, so it does nothing to Flyers. Like, what's it going to do to Skarmory still? Like, Seismic Toss just like it would now? You know, it can't even SD HP Fighting or anything because it doesn't have SD. You know, Rock Smash for defense dropping? I don't know. Well, it can't even use Thief if we're going by Mega mechanics. That's actually an interesting use of the Mega Stones, in that Gen 2 sometimes uses Thief, like later gens would use Knockoff, and Mega Stones obviously block Knockoff's item removal effect, and the Mega Stones would do that here as well. So yeah, I don't know what set this would, because Heracross's standard is Mega Horn, Rest, Sleep Talk, and then either Curse if you want to go for the sweep, or Seismic Toss if you want to use it to check things like Steelix and to wear down Skarmory. So I have to imagine it's going to be pretty much the same. And you just, I mean, you kind of grin and bear it against, I mean, having to grin and bear it against Zapdos sucks. Because it is Zapdos. But I guess you could, if there is something worth making the concession for and running HP Rock on, then it's this. Because, yeah, okay, it messes with your IVs a little bit, your DVs. But I mean, it's so strong. So, like, Curse, HP Rock, with Paralysis support. Curse, HP Rock, Mega Horn, Earthquake, so you're not walled by Steelix. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I don't think this would be broken or anything. Same with Mega Amphi, but I think it'd be usable. Scizor. Now, this one's interesting, because Scizor already has some interesting use. Like, it's mostly a baton passer, but some players have... It doesn't have Morning Sun in this gen. No, it doesn't, so it doesn't heal. But some players have experimented with like SD, HP Fighting, Return kinds of stuff, you know, and it's got good typing. I keep saying interesting. It's got Toxic Immunity. It's got a normal resistance, so it's got plenty going for it. You know, it's got good physical bulk. And Mega Scizor, I mean, yes, it does lose the lefties, but you go from base 130 to base whatever it is, 160, 150. And that's a big difference. You got your SD, HP Fighting, or HP Bug if you want, of course. But yeah, you don't really need Steel Stab for much. Because whether you HP Bug or Fighting, then you're still smacking Tyranitar. And Return still is going to hit Eggy really hard. And yes, you lose the passive recovery, but you also have much better bulk. You go from good 100 base defense to 140, which is Skarmory, if I remember. Yes, it is. That's Skarmory defense, and I think it's about the same HP stat. It's higher, yeah. So since you have a higher HP in the same defense, then Mega Scizor is physically bulkier than Skarmory, and you've got great 100 special defense. This is very tanky. Obviously, the whole thing with these Megas in Gen 2 is offsetting the fact that you cannot heal with them directly. And it's not like a Gen 3 and on where you could potentially Wish Pass to them. So, yeah, sub, I don't think so. I think just, SD, hidden power, whatever, and then return just for good power, coverage against Zapdos without having to run, stupid HP Rock. And then you can just run Baton Pass if you want. It's like, oh, well, my Scizor won't sweep, but I'll get out of here and give it to something else. I mean, it seems a waste of a Mega to use it as a Baton Passer, but, I mean, Quick Attack's weak, but, you're not exactly afloat with options. Agility, I guess, but, yeah, like, it doesn't even have, Fighting Stab or anything. So, I don't know. I think maybe you could do Metal Claw just for the attack boost while attacking. I don't know. Yeah. BP might be just the best just because it's, just because it's such a good move. And it's not like you're really giving up on anything for it. So you don't use it as a BP or you use it as another option. So, yeah, something like that. Yeah. I guess you could also curse if you want. No, I don't think so. HP fighting lets you go more toe-to-toe with Lex. Does it have light screen? It does have light screen. Okay, I was going to say, light screen might actually be good. I mean, again, using a Mega to light screen might be a little bit of a waste, but it can definitely help you go toe-to-toe with Zapdos. Like, light screen is a good option on Machamp, for example. And, of course, Machamp has lefties, but... Yeah, now Steelix. Steelix definitely does not play the same way because it doesn't have lefties once it Mega Evolves. So you're not going to have that whole thing where Curse, EQ, Roar, Boom, and you try to get lefties recovery when you can because you are on a timer, of course. And with spikes, that's a big deal. The big difference here is that, you get a big boost in terms of special defense, so you're taking HP Ices way better. I mean, Earthquake, forget about it. It just bounces off. And more importantly, base Steelix is not very impressive attack-wise, but Mega Steelix hits quite well, quite hard. So you've got Curse, Stab EQ, which actually hits very hard, Boom, which is going to take everything out, and then Rock Slide. And I think that's pretty much all you need. You use this less as a phaser and more just going toe-to-toe with whatever. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily... I mean, no, yeah, you could use it to deal with Snorlax that way. Because it's like, look, if this thing wants to stay in and slug it out, I'll just blow it up. And, I'm pretty sure Snorlax is still better than most Mega Pokemon. So it's still a positive trade. So because then you still have your Snorlax, and they still have their Mega Pokemon, but who cares? But yeah, Houndoom. Houndoom is going to be one of the most immediate cases of a great upgrade. Like, there is no real downside to this. Like, yeah, okay, you can't run Miracle Berry to dodge Sleep from Eggy and Jinx and Gengar or something, but that's more than manageable. You can run Sleep Talk on it. Houndoom already regularly runs Sleep Talk sometimes. Or not regularly, but it is an option, like Fire Blast, Crunch, Pursuit, Sleep Talk. And then sometimes, if you don't want to run that, then you can run, like, Sunny Day Solar Beam over Crunch and Sleep Talk. Or, like, Roar, or, like, Counter. But Houndoom is a pretty good Pokemon, for sure. And its only problem is... I don't think it has many problems. I think it's a good Pokemon. It checks those 3 Pokemon, which are really big. It's got a good speed stat, powerful Stab, Fire Blast. It can get some real good Pursuit action going in a lot of places. I think it's an underrated choice, for sure. And it's got some good options with, Sunny Beam or Roar or Counter to mess up Snorlax. But, yeah, with with Mega Houndoom, then you have a huge upgrade because you're really fast. You're faster than Gengar. You speed tie Starmie, and you're especially bulkier as well, so you even take their hits better. And you're really, really strong. I mean, 140 base special attack, Fire Blast, Crunch, Pursuit. Those targets are absolutely dead, and then even like neutral Pokemon like Nidoking and Machamp are going to get absolutely blown up by you. You're speed tying Starmie and Raikou for that matter. So you don't just act as a threat. You don't just act as a support threat. You are a threat in your own right. With Sunny Beam, for example, then you are even more threatening to something like T-Tar or Suicune trying to take you on. And Mega Houndoom even has a nice defense boost, so it's not automatically getting KO'd by Tyranitar Rock Slide, for example. So yeah, I think Houndoom is one of the best Megas that would emerge in Gen 2. So yeah, big fan of this one, especially because I like Houndoom, and I especially like its shiny form. Yeah, so Mega Houndoom, one of the better choice. I think it'd be excellent in Ubers too. But yeah, and then of course we have to go to Mega Tyranitar, which, again, Houndoom is a more fast-paced, offensively focused Pokemon. So, oh yeah, before I do that, Sunny Day Houndoom also really good because it cuts Thunder accuracy down to half. And yeah, that's really good for dealing with the electrics. So, yeah, this would be a monster. And of course with Sunny Day, then you Solar Beam, then you threaten T-Tar, even Mega T-Tar, because there's no Sandstream, because there's no abilities. Now, T-Tar does generally rely on the longevity of leftovers, but I'm sure you can overlook that for this absolutely insane plus 30 attack, plus 40 defense, plus 20 special defense, and it even becomes faster in terms of speed. So, yeah, does the speed help it outspeed? Yeah, okay, no, that is huge. It outspeeds Cloyster by 1 base point. That's absolutely enormous. I'm wondering which mega speed mechanics we would implement. The original ones where you stay on your base speed stat, I think for balance purposes we would implement Aurus mega mechanics. Like where the turn Mega Metagross Mega evolves, it is 262 speed and not 350 immediately like it was in Sun and Moon. Just for balance purposes, and that was the original, so if we're going to go back in time, let's say we'll go with the original. You could also say, oh, well, Game Freak wanted it to be like that, and they fixed it, but I don't know about that one. You know, how long did it take them to make Steel not resist Dark and Ghost, for example? Can't imagine that was their original intention, and they just overlooked it. So I'm going to say that T-Tar will not have that instant base 71 speed, but it doesn't even matter, because being faster than Cloyster is huge. Cloyster already has a great speed stat. Outrunning Skarmory is nice as well. I mean, what can you even do with this thing? I mean, maybe you're not going to go super longevity focused with it. I mean, I'm sure you could still run Curse, Rock Slide, Rest, Roar, which is already a great set, because if you use Roar in your sleep and you're slower, you still block the opposing phasing. Because in Gen 2, for those who don't know, then the slower phaser wins. If Skarmory roars against a Steelix using Roar, Skarmory's Roar fails and Steelix wins. So, and that works even in your sleep. I found that out the hard way in a tournament game several years ago. Hey, it's pretty brutal. Yeah, you just roar, and that's what makes it really hard to stop once you get going, unless you got a stab serve for a fighting move, which many teams go without. And, you know, even Earthquakes are going to start bouncing off very quickly. Yeah, so you could run that, but I think most of the time you're just fulfilling Tyranitar's potential as a mixed attacker. You know, with Rock Slide, D-Punch, you know, Thunderbolt or Fire Blast, whatever you want to do. You know, just because Rock Slide doesn't really hit Snorlax that hard, but, you know, now with this attack stat, then, yeah, now you are actually putting pressure on it. Obviously, you've also got the special attack is just the same, so it's not like you can use a stronger Pursuit on it, but you can Pursuit more because you are threatening the things more. You know, so like Snorlax rests and then switches out on you, and it's like, okay, well, I'm chipping you with Pursuit. That's good. With Spikes down, every little percent counts when you're dealing with it. You know, you could probably do some dumb stuff with Ancient Power. But yeah, offensive teams with T-Tar who don't need it, you know, who are trying to play at a faster pace and who don't need it to stick around forever, then they will definitely appreciate T-Tar being more capable of hitting hard and taking hits as well. Like, even when you're trying to pursue something, then, yeah, you much appreciate, you know, in that one-on-one, being able to withstand those, like, let's say, even like a Gengar Dynamic Punch is going to do a lot less than, I mean, it's still going to hit hard because it's quadruple effective, of course, but with this much defense, it's not going to be quite the same. And you hit it harder in return, like, with something like Earthquake, not Pursuit, because it's still a special attack stat. So yeah, Gen 2 Megas, I might even be inclined to say that Houndoom, if not the best one, definitely a contender, just because Tyranitar wants its lefties a lot more than Houndoom's. You know, Houndoom regularly goes, like, itemless and runs Thief as well. That's another one I forgot. Wow, okay, there are a lot of Megas in Gen 3. Okay, so Mega Sceptile. It's interesting. I gotta stop saying that word. Well, it's extremely fast, of course, and it's outrunning pretty much, you know, it is outrunning everything, other than, you know, maybe another Mega. So, I think, because in this, like, little thought experiment, we are not expecting the Gen 1 Megas to carry over to Gens 2 and 3, because that would be too much at once. So it's like each little contained thing, like, oh, Gen 3 came out, and Megas exist, and here are the Pokemon that got them, for example. So, yeah, Sceptile, its best grass move is still going to be Leaf Blade off the special attack stat, and in Gen 3, it is 70 base power, but, yeah, also in Gen 3, Lightning Rod sucks. It does not give you that special attack boost. It is a doubles-only ability. It's supposed to draw an electric move away from your water type to your Rhydon, for example. That was the example in the Pokemon Coliseum guidebook, as I remember. But yeah, in singles, it doesn't do anything. So it's got a useless ability. So, but hey, that's fine. Because Leaf Blade is good, Stab Dragon Claw is good. It's actually going to be its strongest stab with 80 base power, and it's hitting much harder than Mixment's might. Of course, that lack of lefties is going to be especially noticeable in this generation because there's not just spikes, but there's permanent sand everywhere. So, you click Protect and, oh, it's nasty. So for that reason, I might even see Sceptile running Giga Drain to try and offset it. Or Leech Seed, I think, might be more common. It's like, oh, well, Blissey wants to switch in, I'm going to Leech Seed it. It's got a good attack stat, and I guess you could Focus Punch with it, but I don't really think that's necessary. I think you are more... It'd be better to probably just go with like a Leech set, and then you've got a very strong Crunch to prevent Celebi from blocking it. You've got a quadruple weakness to Ice, which is not groovy, but you've got a neutrality to Fire, which is good, so you can take like a HP Fire Celebi on better than you would otherwise. So, it still doesn't have good bulk at all. I think it's got... Okay, it's actually bulkier than regular Sceptile. Oh, on the physical side, not on the special side. But, I mean... I think it would be a pretty good attacker, yeah. It's just a matter of what coverage do you put, because you want Leech Seed, you want HP Fire. You could just like drop HP Fire and go, look, I'm going to remove the Blissey and then go crazy with Sceptile. But yeah, do you want HP Fire? Do you want HP Ice? Yeah, it's always going to have some coverage issues, much like regular Sceptile, which is why on the rare occasion you do see Sceptile in Advanced OU as is, you see it running Leech Seed stuff. But yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. Just, tough to make the most of. Honestly, this is sacrilegious. I shouldn't even say it. But I was thinking, what if you took Leaf Blade off of it? And I'm like, no, don't do that. Then you get walled by T-Tar, let alone Waters. So, yeah, probably Crunch is the superfluous one here, and you just leech HP, because HP Fire or Ice, whichever they are, then Ice hits Salamence more immediately and effectively, and the Metagross and Jirachi you can Leech Seed because they are not as... I don't know, it depends on your team. I'm generalizing a little too much. Okay, well, Mega Blaziken goes to Ubers, obviously. I mean, Speed Boost, are you kidding me? Speed Boost, it doesn't even matter that it doesn't have a super-powered high jump kick in this generation, because it's got unbelievable offenses. It even gets a speed boost to its base speed upon Mega Evolving, so you can't even say, oh, it's not even that fast at +1. It's like, oh yeah, it actually kind of is. It's going to outrun everything. Generation 3 does not have a lot of priority, almost none, in fact. Breloom's Mach Punch is pretty much the only one you ever see. And, yeah, you've got a special attack stat stronger than Moltres for your Fire Blasting. And then you've got that whole Blaziken thing where, oh, it's got strong Fire Blast, and the traditional Fire Blast answers like Tyranitar and Blissey don't really want to answer it because of stab fighting, being Sky Uppercut in this case. And that, you kind of get around it sometimes because A, it's slow, and B, its base attack stats are not that enormous, but now it's not slow anymore. Even just the jump to base 100 would have been enough, but the fact that it gets speed boost, I mean, forget it. And now it's unbelievably strong on both sides. So you don't even have to invest in that much speed if you don't want, because you can just run Protect on it and then invest in both stats. And he's like, okay, what about Waters? Well, this thing gets obviously HP Grass and also Thunder Punch. So yeah, Fire Blast, Sky Uppercut. It's going to be doing so much damage you almost don't even... Obviously, you don't even need Protect. You can mix and match as much as you like. HP Grass to just obliterate Swampert. And, yeah, don't even know... Make sure you have your 31 attack IV HP Grass, because you don't want to... who cares about your defense? And then... it's absolutely nuts. The last Protect, or Overheat, or Rock Slide, or I don't know what. Something to do something to Salamence. But yeah, no, this would be utterly insane, and I don't think this would last in OU. I think some people would say, okay, well, come on, its move pool's not that good, and then they would realize, oh no, never mind, this is stupid. It's like, I don't even care that it has, you run Sunny Day on it, so you combat sand. And you make and you can't even deal with it with waters that easily anymore, like Suicune, and you make its Fire Blast even nastier, so then Salamis doesn't want to deal with it. So yeah, no, I'm sure you would find a million. Yeah, and T-Tar wants to switch in to reset the sand on this thing. Yeah, no, this would be a stupid Pokemon. It would be gone. Mega Swampert is very... Stop myself there. Is a unique choice because Swampert's whole thing in advance is lefties protect. Obviously, you don't have that here. But in terms of being an offensive threat, as offensive Swampert does exist, and sometimes it even runs non-lefties. It runs the Salix set. Now you wouldn't be doing that here, and I don't really see you running Swift Swim Rain Dance because, I mean, okay, you could. Look, I mean, we already run Kingdra, which has the... No, you definitely would. I'm sorry. Yeah, Rain Dance, Mega Pert, obviously, Tyranitar doesn't want to switch in at all. It's got the same special attack stat as Kingdra, which gets by just fine. And pre-Rain, then obviously you're not affected by Sand, which is very good. And you don't... I mean, the thing that might feel a little wasteful is, well, it's not really stronger than its special variant, but it's than its base variant, but it's stronger. It's a lot bulkier, first of all. That defense stat is absolutely enormous. And unless you run like some goofy rest stuff, you're not going to. As soon as you try to outbulk Arrow with this thing, then, it just is going to spike all over you and beat you that way. So I don't think that's the way. I think just running it as an offensive Swampert with a much higher attack stat is the way to go, because Blissey can kind of shrug off base 110 uninvested Mega Swampert Earthquake. But 150, I don't think so. And when you don't, I wonder how fast you even need to make this thing, because you're doubling your speed stat. So you could feasibly, invest a bunch in attack, or you can invest in bulk. I don't know that this thing would necessarily be busted, because, again, it's boosting its special, its Water Stab, which is coming off its weaker special attack stat, which is identical to its base. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it is. Yeah, Swampert. Oh, no, it does. Oh, okay, maybe not. It is stronger than, right off the bat, it's going to be stronger than base Swampert, firing off Hydro Pumps and Ice Beams. It is as strong as Kingdra now. Why do I think that regular Swampert is base 95? It didn't cross over 100, so I just assumed, oh, no, it's not stronger than regular Swampert. But yeah, that'd be absolutely nuts if regular Swampert had base 95 special attack. Use that on every team. So yeah, this would be a good Pokemon. Harder to fit, again, because you do have to compensate for its lack of lefties against T-Tar Arrow, DD Men stuff. But you also leverage them one-on-one a lot better because you've got a much better defense stat. And for that matter, you've got a much better base special defense stat, so it's going to withstand HP grasses and the like much more easily. That's really huge, actually. So, yeah, Mega Swampert, good Pokemon. Mega Metagross is another one I have the feeling might just go to Ubers. I mean, come on, man. That speed stat going from 350, Gengar tier speed on a stronger version of Metagross. Now, I don't know what... Well, no, Tough Claws doesn't exist in Gen 3, so we're just going to keep it with Clear Body. Okay, so... But even then, oh, I can't intimidate it even. So... Yeah, I don't know. Mash, EQ, Boom Mega Metagross. I know it's not Tough Claws boosted, but God... that attack stat going from 135 to 145, that is nothing to sneeze at. And Mash, EQ, Boom, Rock Slide, you can agility if you want. It's bulkier on both sides of the spectrum. It's bulkier. Yeah, no, its special defense is much higher. Its special attack is a lot higher. So you can very feasibly run like Psychic Pursuit, HP Fire, or Grass kinds of stuff. Ice Punch. Oh, that's... No, it'd be disgusting, no matter what it did. I do think... I mean, no, I don't care that it doesn't have lefties. It's physically bulkier, so trapping it with Doug Trio is harder. I don't even think you have to go max speed with it. You can go Adamant, you can go Jolly, you can go, some sort of mix, to get some bulk to be more anti-Doug Trio. Need to play the music again. Yeah, no, I think Mega Metagross would be utterly stupid. Yeah, imagine, like, Agility Metagross is already scary late game. This thing late game? No, get that out of here. Yeah, like, Arrow, EQ just gonna bounce off. Ugh. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Yeah, and its special attack stat is also a +10 boost, I believe. It's from 95. So, yeah. Mega Salamence. Now, we don't have Aerodactyl in Gen 3, so obviously it's going to stay Intimidate, but I don't know, dude. This is another very clear Uber to me because it is just a better regular Salamence. Okay, yeah, it doesn't have lefties, and the other thing about Mega Metagross, of course, is that it's a Mega not affected by Sand, so you don't even care that it doesn't have lefties half the time. So, yeah, Mega Salamence, okay, this is going to be affected by lefties, by Sand. Yeah, so is Choice Band. Who cares? I don't even know what. Just standard mixments on this thing. You've got a better special attack stat. You go from 110 to base 120, and you've got a 145 as opposed to 135, the same boost as Metagross. You've got better special defense. Oh, did I forget the fact that it's 120 base speed? Alakazam tier, Alakazam Dugtrio tier, so you're outrunning everything, including Mega Metagross. So the only things that outrun this thing right off the bat, like unboosted, are going to be Jolteon and Aero, and other Megas like Mega Sceptile, for example. But yeah, this thing is too fast. It's got better special defense, so you're able to withstand Celebi Psychic better, for example. It's got enormous defense. I mean, it's what, base 80 when it's in its base form? Yeah, base 80 defenses, so, +10 to special defense is nice, but you got a base, what is that, 50 to, yeah, you got base 50 more defense with Intimidate. Honestly, you could run Wish on this thing. Doesn't even matter that it doesn't heal in Sand. Just run Wish, Protect, whatever. This thing is simultaneously the biggest offensive threat and one of the best, physically defensive walls as well. Especially because it's got a physically defensive wall that naturally hits incredibly hard, even more so than standard Salamence because of 145 attack and 120 special attack. So, I mean, I'm not saying that use your broken Salamence to be a Wish wall, but I'm just saying it's wouldn't be the worst thing. But yeah, most of the time you're just gonna use like standard Mixments or DD late game. Oh, nightmarish! Too strong, too fast, too bulky. It's perfect at everything. What more could you want from this thing? Yeah, it's like, oh, well, Sand. It's like, okay, well, run Sunny Day Ments or Rain Dance or something. That's already been used on some teams. Yeah, run Sunny Day or Rain Dance Ments and go nuts. So, yeah, run Rain Dance Ments to boost your Hydro Pump or Sunny Day to boost your Fire Blast. And it's like, oh, well, T-Tar wants to switch it. Yeah, I'm sure T-Tar wants to switch into this thing. Good lord. Yeah, that's getting banned. Manectric. Now, this one's... Gotta stop saying interesting. This one, I think... Well, the speed stat is obviously incredible. That's the biggest. It's because it's basically a much better Jolteon. It hits much harder. It's faster than Aerodactyl, and it's got Flamethrower. Does it have Overheat in this gen or just Flamethrower? I think it has to have at least. What? It doesn't have. I guess it didn't get Flamethrower and Overheat until Gen 4. Huh, okay, maybe it's not that much better. I mean, it is still better, but it's not like, head and shoulders. So instead, you're going to... I mean, you can't use it defensively as much because no lefties. But yeah, T-Bolt, HP Ice. Yeah, suddenly I'm thinking maybe this is more of a BL Pokemon. I don't know. You have Crunch for, coverage, I guess, but, it's not switching into much because Static is not a great ability. Intimidate is obviously amazing, especially on something so fast. But, getting that Mega off in the first place will be tough. Yeah, I don't know what else you're going to really run at. Roar? Thunder, just because you don't have other moves to run? I don't know. I think, hey, Rain Dance Thunder, I guess. That'd be kind of cool. But, I don't know. Probably, this one I don't think is going to get used that much. Like, Jolteon's much weaker and slower, yes. But it's also, hey, it's got Refresh. Okay, maybe. So you switch it into like a Zapdos T-Wave and refresh it off. Because for those who don't know, Electrics do get T-Waved in Gens 1 through 5. So yeah. Yeah, Mega Metagross is not stunning. Mega Medicham, okay, this might be a little too stupid. I mean, just regular Medicham is already crazy strong. And yes, it doesn't have high jump kick, like to superpowered extents in this gen. But I mean, it's got the base 100 speed, the golden benchmark. I still have to make my base 100 speed video. It's got the golden benchmark of base 100 speed. It's got stupefying levels of attack. I think it's even bulkier, right? So it's not as automatic a revenge kill as it was. Medicham, yeah, it's got an extra base 10 in each defense stat. Yeah, and I mean, the power is just through the roof, so... Yeah, I don't know. I do not want to face this thing. I mean, it might be a little borderline. Haha, borderline. Not literally BL, but, like, not as obvious in Uber because, again, its defensive utility kind of sucks. But seeing as how stupid regular Medicham can be, then I'm willing to bet that this one might just be, too much. It's with how fast it is. Are you kidding me? Yeah, bulk up and, to make hit even harder and avoid Dugtrio revenge kills? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, I can see it because I don't know. No, I think it's too fast. That's the main problem. Okay, Mega Absol will not have Magic Bounce. It'll just have Pressure. So does it do anything interesting? I mean, it's got an amazing attack stat with Swords Dance, true, but it's also a Dark type, and that means it doesn't have any physical stab. Does it have any interesting physical moves? I don't really think so. Yeah, it's not even like... Yeah, it has no good physical moves. That's actually depressing. Like you're gonna SD hidden power what with it? Fortunately, you also have you got Taunt and Toxic and Wish and T-Wave and Swords Dance BP. Yeah, that's a good use of a Mega. No, I think its special attack stat would be what would get used because I remember I was a kid and I ran into a Fire Blast Absol in the wild right outside of Fort Tree City. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So yeah, Fire Blast, Ice Beam. Does it get Thunderbolt? Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know that this is really that special a set of traits. HP Grass in the last slot or whatever. If you want it to act like a Mew or something. But, I mean, I guess it's something, especially because it's very fast. So it's got perfect coverage pretty much. Lots of, I mean, this doesn't even threaten T-Tar that well. Does it have Surf? I don't think it does. Yeah, maybe not. No, suddenly I'm thinking Absol is... No, not suddenly. I am still thinking Absol is more of a BL Pokemon, unfortunately. Aggron. Now, this one's cool. Some people have been theorizing regular Aggron, actually, but what I like about Mega Aggron, or what everyone likes about Mega Aggron, is that it's no longer Steel Rock, it's just Steel. And it doesn't have Filter, so we're just going to keep it with Rock Head, so it can still use Double Edge if it chooses. But it's... Hang on one sec, my computer charger just fell out. And my computer is old and not good, so that means it starts lagging when that happens. So, yeah, you look at this utterly titanic stat spread. I mean, that defense stat, good lord. That attack is not shabby either. Okay, it doesn't have amazing stabs because it's no longer using Stab Rock and, Steel Stab. What does it even have? Like, there's no Iron Head even. But, look, for these stats, I'm sure you could find something. I mean, it's also much bulkier on the... Is it much bulkier? No, it is bulkier on the special side. Yeah, plus 20. So, yeah, I think it'd be tough to figure out what exactly the moveset you want to use on this is, because it doesn't have anything like SD or whatever. But I think you could probably run, Focus Punch, Rock Slide, EQ, and then, like, HP Bug or something. So, like, basically like a 4-attack T-Tar, but on a pure Steel type. So, and one that is not nearly as vulnerable to Dugtrio, because you are going to be strong enough to OHKO it with Earthquake. If you hit 400 attack, you are able to do that. I remember that from Metagross calcing. I mean, it depends on the Dugtrio a little too, but like 399, 400 off the top of my head. So yeah, you give this thing Wish support. I think it's a good yeah. What more do you even need from? I mean, Stab would be nice, of course, but for that, I mean, pure Steel typing is really good. Oh, I didn't mean to put counter there, but you could run counter there, of course. But yeah, I don't think... Yeah, who cares about speed? You just, give it some special defense, or you just max out its attack, hit it, make sure it hits as hard as possible to compensate for lack of stab. Yeah, it's a good Pokemon. Altaria, I think, is going to suck. Unfortunately, there are no Fairy types, so we are just going to make it a Flying type, and Pixelate obviously doesn't exist. So Natural Cure is still fine, but, even if we do have this Dragon Flying Altaria, its stats aren't that amazing, and its move pool even less so. Like, okay, it's a pretty good Dragon Dancer now. I'll give it that, because it's got great special defense, a good attack stat now, so it can actually use, Stab, HP Flying, and EQ, and it's the most interesting thing about it, I think, is the fact that it has Salamence's special attack now, base Salamence. So you can Dragon Claw, Fire Blast, and then it doesn't have Brick Break though, so it's not going to be hitting, what's it called? It's not going to be hitting Tyranitar or Blissey as hard. and it's got more of a Dragonite style move pool with Ice Beam and Heal Bell. I think what's interesting on it is that you use it kind of like not even a mix Mence, just like a special attacking Mence with utility moves. Because yes, you don't have lefties, but you have Natural Cure, so you are not afraid of getting Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, and you can run Rest with it. Rest, Natural Cure, as Altaria does in UU. This actually gives you incredible longevity alongside Spike's immunity, so you kind of compensate for the fact that you are affected by Sand without lefties. And then you are able to do this over and over again, and you can support your team with Perish Song maybe, or Heal Bell, or Haze. I don't know, its defensive typing is, it's good, its speed stat is awkward, but it's got good bulk, so, I don't know, it feels more like a middling BL Pokemon to me, but not without its uses, for sure. I mean, because people have theorized about a mixed Dragonite set that acts like Mixed Mence, but with Heal Bell, and I think Mega Altaria would be more good at that, or would be better at that. I don't know, it's tough to say. You could also just run 3 attacks Rest, I suppose, with like HP Grass or something, but, yeah. I guess it... Okay, no, I take it back. It has Pursuit. No, but it's weak to Gengar's Ice Punch. Yeah, shame. Yeah. Mega Bayonet. Actually, I'm going to run to the bathroom again because I am just that well hydrated, BRB. Alright, so, Mega Bayonet. Prankster doesn't exist, so we're just going to keep it with Insomnia. I mean, that's good. Insomnia hits, or stops sleep. That's a good trait to have. Bayonet has already kind of been theorized by some players, and because it's got a great move pool, Knockoff, Will-O-Wisp, excellent combination. And, it's got a good attack stat, and this one, cranks the attack stat through the roof. Base 115 jumps up to 165. Problem is, its defensive typing is not that good. It's going to be affected by Sand now, like without lefties even. And it's not that fast. It's not very bulky. So its attack stat and its move pool are pretty much the only things it has going for it. And I mean, it's still going to have some interest for sure. I mean, a Ghost type, a Spin Blocker, a Boom Absorber, a Snorlax answer with the ability to use Knockoff and Burn, sure, that merits some interest. But I think the problem is that it's not fast enough or strong enough to really warrant your Mega Spot most of the time. I don't know, I think there would definitely be some use found for it, because I think once you get rid of the really bonkers Megas, your Salamence, your Metagross, your Blaziken, then a lot of these Megas kind of start, averaging out to levels where they're not really towering over each other. It's not like an Oris OU situation where it's like, why would you ever use Mega, I don't know, Glalie when you could use Mega Metagross, for example. That was a stupid one off the top of my head. I'm sure someone will go, well, Glalie can actually spike and explode. But it's like, I know, but it, by and large, is much, much worse. Mega Audino probably would have been a better point of comparison. But, yeah, so I don't think it's going to be a situation like that. I think some use would be found for it, but I still don't really see it being like more than a BL Pokemon. It's just, it's Stab Shadow. Look, it's going to run Shadow Ball off a great attack stat. It's going to run HP Fighting, so Blissey and T-Tar don't want to come in on it. You're not going to want to throw Metagross into it because it's going to get burned, and Knockoff is just irritating for everything. So, that means Skarmory's not going to want much to do with it either. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Got a huge attack stat, okay speed. It's going to outrun offensive Suicune and Heracross, but I don't really think, maybe it gets Menses to run above Smeargle speed, but they already kind of do that for Moltres, so I don't know. I don't see it having that much impact, because, I mean, look at that bulk. That bulk is bad even by UU standards, let alone OU, so yeah. Mega Gardevoir, obviously not a fairy type, so we're going to give it, it's going to be either Synchronize or Trace, and it's just going to be a regular Psychic type. That said, base 100 speed, this makes it one of the better Megas, I think, non-broken ones, because it's now able to match that Celebi Jirachi speed tier that makes it an effective Pokemon on special offense teams. It's now going to have a great offensive Calm Mindset. It's got a great move pool, Psychic, Calm Mind Psychic, obviously, and then you can mix and match. You can Thunderbolt, Ice Punch for Bolt Beam coverage. You can run Fire Punch, HP Grass, a la another Jirachi set. Whatever you want, pretty much. And it's going to be affected by Sand, yes, but it's fast, and it hits really hard. I mean, think of it like this. A lot of teams struggle to keep up with a base 100 attack Super Rachi or Super Celebi. And yes, part of that comes from their resilience as well, because Jirachi is very hard to take out. Celebi's no slouch either. But the jump from 100 to 165 is enormous. And this is not even getting into Gardevoir's amazing utility options. I mean, Synchronize is a great ability to punish, status like Will-O-Wisp and Gengar. People already mess around with Gardevoir in regular Advanced OU sometimes because it has such cool traits. Synchronize is good. Trace is good. Trace lets you potentially remove Dugtrio, counter-trapping it. It's hard to fit, but it's got Icy Wind, it's got Will-O-Wisp, Memento, Taunt. This is a very disruptive Pokemon. I don't think it's going to use much of Wish, unfortunately, but the options for this are through the roof. So I think Gardevoir is definitely one of the better Megas. And obviously its special defense stat, yeah, it's kind of counterbalanced by lack of recovery and Sand and the fact that its HP is not that good, but that is still a gigantic base special defense. So I think as an offensive Calm Mind, your Gardevoir is going to be pretty terrifying, especially because if you try to stop it with something like if it's a synchronized Mega Gardevoir going on the offensive with 3 attacks, and you try to T-Wave it or Toxic it, then it just bounces those back at you at the same time. So yeah, your Blissey might have Toxiced it, but your Blissey is also toxic, and it's not going to win that one-on-one. And then you have to switch out, and then there's the, now you have to switch on a worse Pokemon in the Mega Gardevoir. It gets very ugly very quick. I think Fire Punch HP Grass is probably the more intuitive set, because you want to be able to really use your power to mow through things like Metagross and T-Tar, of course. Whereas, things like Salamence and Waters that you would want your coverage for, or the stronger coverage of T-Bolt for, and Ice Punch, of course, then Psychic is already hitting them so hard to begin with, so I think Fire Grass is probably the better one. So yeah, Mega Gardevoir, excellent poke. Sharpedo doesn't have strong jaw, so we're just going to keep it with rough skin, which it might actually use a little bit. Well, not really. It's still not physically bulky, just not as paper frail as it was. Is Sharpedo BL? No, Sharpedo's UU. What am I talking about? It's a good Pokemon in UU. Yeah, from 40 to 70. So what's interesting is that it now, I mean, some people already have some use for Sharpedo theoretically because it has Taunt as a water type. So you can do that whole Hydro through most other non-Blissey Pokemon. You have Crunch, so Celebi really doesn't want, Stab Crunch, so Celebi really doesn't want to come near you. And then when Blissey comes in, you taunt it and prevent it from healing with spikes, and then it gets nasty, of course. It's not going to have much use for its physical attack stat, though. That's the thing. But, I mean, no problem. You just Hydro, Taunt, Crunch, Ice Beam, and, hey, you can even Rough Skin something. And you have a very good speed stat. I mean, you get the jump on the base 100s. I mean, its special attack is not through the roof, and it's still frail. Its typing is kind of awkward. But, for that above the 100 speed stat, and, yeah, and I'm sure you could run HP Grass on it if you preferred. Yeah, I think it's got something, but not still going to be a BL-ish Pokemon. Mega Camerupt. Now, this is interesting. Doesn't have Sheer Force. Interesting. This is my version of Jim Cool's This Is Insane. Doesn't have Sheer Force. We're going to give it Magma Armor. But what's great about Mega Camerupt is that people already like base Camerupt for its list of resistances against things like Zapdos and Gengar, and its great dual stab and its explosion. Problem is, its stats let it down. Now, its speed is not better. In fact, it's worse. But you know what? That's fine, because now you double down on everything that it's supposed to be good at. It's got it's got a great special defense stat. Now, you're not going to be able to use it repeatedly to stuff Gengar and Zapdos, at least not with Spikes in the picture, and most of the time Spikes are going to be in the picture. But as opposed to regular Camerupt, which has 75 base special defense, this is much better. It's got good defense too, so it can actually withstand an earthquake. It's got a much stronger EQ and explosion, so you are a lot likelier to actually take something with you. And its Fire Blast is through the roof, of course. I mean, this is much stronger than... What's the next... Yeah, Moltres' Fire Blast is left in the dust. This is 20 base special attack higher than that. So... yeah, you aren't going to be outspeeding the T-Tars and Metagross you're going to be facing against, but you can take their hits, and you are going to really shatter them in return. So I think Fire Blast, EQ, Boom, and... I mean, that Boom, my god. And the last would be, I don't know, HP Grass. How fast can we make this thing? Yeah, so this is not outrunning even, like... I mean, I guess Swamperts now just have to invest a few special attack Vs to not get outrun by max speed Camerupt. So, but maybe you can still get on the Switch or something. I don't know. I think you would definitely find some use for Mega Camerupt, though. HP Grass is still good because it hits, you know, Suicune on the Switch and Starmie. And you would have... Mild, I think, was the... Well, maybe. I don't know. No, what am I talking about? Quiet. Obviously. Yeah, and you hit him on the Switch, and you're good. Yeah. And you're so strong that Salamence doesn't exactly want to take your Fire Blast, so... Yeah, Mega Mawile. Okay, so this is going to... We're going to keep its huge power, but we're going to take away its Fairy type. So the thing is that it's going to be incredibly strong on paper. Problem is, what moves does it run? Does it have any Steel Stab at all? It has, like, Metal Claw, which can't exactly... It doesn't even have Metal Claw. Yeah, I can't exactly imagine this striking fear in much. Its its physical move pool is as follows. Brick Break... Okay, that's good. Brick Break is a good move in Gen 3. Well, let's say Return. Focus Punch, okay, that's where it gets, you know, that's where it can really start doing something. Hidden powers like Bug, okay, so let's say, you know, Sub... Does it have Rock Slide? It does have Rock Slide. So Sub, Focus Punch, Rock Slide, HP Bug. This is basically a Tyranitar set, but with, you know, much higher attack. Okay, you know what? I can get behind a set like this. You know, you got the problem of low speed and such, but it's definitely going to... And actually, its bulk is pretty good. I mean, the HP stat is abysmal, but... And I think that's what would really keep it... You know, it doesn't have priorities. Not like later gens where it has Sucker Punch. But, yeah, if you wish to it, the fact it's Toxic Immune is really good. And, I mean, you almost don't even need Stab when it's, you know, this freakishly powerful. So... I would say that, you know, invest in some bulk so you're not automatically dumpstered by Dugtrio, maybe, if you can. Yeah, I think something like this would be fine. You could also just ditch the... You could ditch the Sub and go with Brick Break for more immediacy against T-Tar and Blissey. And a move that can actually hit Swampert one-on-one without a Sub, which would be useful. You know, or you can throw Return in there if you like, which, you know, might also be worthwhile. Sadly, doesn't really have much to do against the likes of Metagross, but you know, actually, I guess you could also Swords... Yeah, why was I not thinking of that? Swords Dance, Brick Break? Yeah, it's not automatically going to destroy something like Metagross, but Metagross can't really hurt it back in return. So yeah, SD could be good. I was thinking, can it figure out a way to slot HP Ground in there? I'm like, maybe, but Celebi's going to be more of a pain, I think. So, yeah. But yeah, I was going to say CB, and then I realized, oh no, it's a Mega. So yeah. Alright, and then the Mega Lottie Twins, yeah, dear lord, I think the only thing in Ubers would be to figure out which one of your Lotties will be Soldew and which one will be Mega. Because they're both just so much better in every way. You know, you can't even knock off their Soldew with Deoxys Defense anymore. You know, and they're physically bulkier as if they needed help there. Yeah, so this would just be nightmarish. Mega Sableye doesn't have Magic Bounce, so I think it would just be a bad Pokemon. It's not bulky, it doesn't even have Will-O-Wisp in this gen. And, I mean, Knock Off and Recover, definitely cool. People have been using Sableye to success in advance in recent months, but the fact that this one doesn't heal in sand, or sorry, loses health in sand, I think is going to be too much of a problem for it. So I'm sure some people would find a way to make it work, but again, a BL Pokemon. And then Mega Rayquaza, I mean, the only question is, does this create anything goes even in Gen 3? And I think the answer is probably yes. I mean, look at that. Look at those stats. Deoxys attack offenses with speed higher than Lottie, and bulk than, I mean, I know it doesn't have Dragon Ascent in this gen, and it's instead using like HP Flying and Dragon Claw and stuff, but still, yeah. Alright, we go on to the Gen 4 Megas, and then we just got the one Gen 5. Let's do the one Gen 5 Mega first. We'll go out of order just because it's only the one. Yeah, Mega Audino, plus we get to save Gen 4 for last, my favorite. Yeah, fairy types don't exist, and Healer does Healer exist in Gen 5? I don't think it does, because if you could give regular Audino, oh no it does, okay, never mind. I was going to say, if you could give regular Audino Regenerator, that would kind of be amazing. But yeah, other than that, it's just a normal type with a lot of bulk, admittedly, a ton of bulk, and, you know, Wish, Knockoff, Heal Bell, all that stuff, but I still don't see this having any use in OU for sure. Lower tiers, yeah, that's where you start to get interesting, but in UU, in UU for sure, but OU, no, not a chance. Alright, now for the Gen 4 ones, these are going to be wild. Starting off with Abomasnow. Now, Obama gets slower by a lot, but it also gets a lot bulkier. That's, how much of an increase? Wow, its special defense, it's already got good special defense, good special bulk, but it's bulkier there, and its defense, you know, plus 30 is amazing, and of course it has equally amazing offenses in base 132, so that like mix set that sometimes likes to get run, like Blizzard and Wood Hammer and Ice Shard, that one is really nasty, I think. You know, with EQ for the Jirachis of the world, and you've still got Hail running, so yeah, and if you really want to gain health back with it, I don't think you need to, because like half the time that mixed Abomasnow set likes to run Expert Belt, so yeah, and now you got so much power, Clefable doesn't really stand a chance against you, so you don't have to slot in something dumb like Focus Punch. So, yeah, I don't think you need HP Fire either. Yeah, I think just this set would be really, really good. I mean, it's very slow, obviously, but that's why you bring it on something like Swampert or Suicune or Starmie and just start unleashing stuff left and right. You know, just, I guess it is primarily a physical attacker, so it should, yeah, I mean, the biggest issue you're going to have is probably Skarmory, you know, roosting off your Blizzards, but I mean, if that's your biggest problem, there's lots of ways to get rid of Skarmory. So, yeah, Mega Abomasnow would be very good in OU. I like it a lot. Mega Lucario, I mean, this gets banned, obviously. Is that a surprise? I mean, no matter what you run with it. I mean, it doesn't have Nasty Plot, so it can't run Nasty Plot Vacuum Wave. It would get that in Gen 5. But, I mean, Calm Mind, I mean, Aura Sphere, whatever. I mean, look at how fast it is, just for starters. You know, you put this speed stat on Lucario just as is, and the game already changes a lot. You know, forget this whole thing where it also gets enormous offensive boosts. You know, people used to say when Gen 6 first came out, well, these Megas aren't necessarily better than a standard Life Orb attacker because, like, Life Orb Gengar is actually stronger than Mega Gengar. And it's like, yeah, but it's also not holding a Life Orb, so it's not cutting into its own recovery. And there's also the million other things that go with it, like, yeah, like better bulk. Yeah, Lucario actually has decent defense. You know that whole thing where, like, oh, Lucario counters Gliscor, and it's like, oh, yeah, well, even if you don't have Ice Punch, which I don't think you even need most of the time, then the fact is you're not even KOing, and the fact it's faster, you're not even KOing it back with EQ now, because that base 88 defense is very good. Combined with, you know, that typing, it's going to get a million opportunities. Just standard SD, CC, E-Speed, whatever last is just going to be disgusting. I mean, adaptability, too. You know, now you have adaptability Bullet Punch for the double priority, so it's even less easy to revenge kill. See, and I mean, CC just goes through the roof. Good lord. Yeah, no, absolutely not. What I'm more interested in is, would Mega Lucario be too much for Ubers? I mean, it's faster than the Lottie twins, and it's so strong. It can have whatever coverage it wants. I mean, because Lucario is already better in Ubers than it is in OU. So I'm genuinely, I mean, this is probably an overreaction, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, is this genuinely like going to be too much for Ubers? Now, again, maybe I am overreacting a little bit because it doesn't have nasty plot, so, I don't know. I think this would throw Ubers out of whack in a very unpleasant way. So yeah, Mega Lucario would be a lot for Gen 4 as a whole. Mega Gallade. Gallade gets an amazing speed boost. Although, I mean, talk about outspeeding the 350s. It speed ties with... oh, wait, no, it is a 350. My apologies. But it's also incredibly... It already has... Wait, no, its special defense doesn't change. My apologies. It's a physical defense, which was previously a weak spot for it. Now is much better, from 65 to 95. And it has an attack stat, which goes up by 40. So you have an incredibly fast, incredibly strong, solidly bulky physical attacker that just SD, CC, Shadow Sneak, Zen Headbutt, whatever. It's just, what's its ability after Mega? It's Inner Focus, okay. Yeah, so this thing also, I don't want to, no, I am going to say this is probably too much for OU. I mean, even if you have that lower speed stat upon Mega Evolving, I think, because Gallade is already a good Pokemon in OU. Gets used on some occasions. No, I think this is a dumb poke. It's bulky too, which... Yeah, no, this is too well-rounded a threat, I think, for DPPOU. It'd be pretty good in Ubers, for sure. I mean, I can't get that image out of my head of Mega Lucario being too much for DPP Ubers. I really think that it might have the capacity for it. It's just so strong and so fast. I mean, I might be overestimating it a little bit, but I don't know. Even like the increased ability to like withstand and set up on an outrage with that defense boost rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, I think the main reason why a Vacuum Wave Mega Lucario, like Calm Mind, or not specs, but just like all that special attacking Mega Lucario would be popular was because with your good defense, you withstand E-Speeds and Bullet Punches from other Mega Lucario, the SD variants, and you revenge kill them with Vacuum Wave. So, yeah, Mega Lucario being one of the better checks to Mega Lucario, that's awesome. Yeah, Mega Gallade. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. It's got a great support move pool, but I don't think you're using it here, because Drain Punch sucks in DPP. It got boosted in Gen 5. But yeah, Lopunny is not going to be as good because it doesn't have a boosted high jump kick. So it's not base 130 in this gen. So you're just mostly doing Fake Out, Return, and then, like, I don't know, Brick Break? Doesn't even have Brick... It doesn't even have Brick Break. What is that? Does it have any fighting moves? Sure, Focus Punch, Low Kick, Jump Kick... Doesn't even have high jump kick in this gen. So yeah, it's going to be... This is not going to be a great Pokemon. I mean, the speed, great. The scrappy stab return and fake out, yes, sure. But I don't see this being a really top tier Pokemon. Maybe by lack of like better options. But I don't know. I mean, jump kick... I mean, the recoil from this, and I mean, it's barely going to... It's going to struggle to deal with Jirachi. It's got cool stuff like Encore and Healing Wish, but do you really want to be Healing Wishing your Mega? I don't really see much for this one. Encore is cool. Heal Bell is cool, for sure. But, I mean, you can't even switch your route. Yeah, I'm not seeing much for Mega Lopunny, unfortunately. Lack of Fighting Stab is just killer for it. Yeah. Now, finally, Garchomp. Wow, okay, well, obviously base Garchomp is too much for OU, so Mega Garchomp would not, see the light of day at all. But Mega Garchomp, I think, would also be too much for OU, because yes, it's slower, so it's below the base 100s and whatnot, but it's also so bulky. I mean, the defense, it's already bulkier than Swampert naturally, but it's got more special defense, so it's already a great Pokemon at taking Ice Beams, because it's got 108 base HP, which is unbelievable. And with base 95 defense, Ice Beams are bouncing off of it. And it's also... Oh, it has Sand Force, so we're going to... Oh, yeah, the fact that Sand Force doesn't exist in Gen 4 means it has to have Sand Veil. Yeah, so that automatically as well. But even if we just gave it no ability, then it's so strong. And it's on both sides of the spectrum now, because it actually makes up for base Garchomp's weaker special defense tag. Can easily run a special attacking set. And its physical defense, just impossible to revenge kill. And it's still plenty fast. I mean, 92 is a good... It's faster than Lucario. So, yeah, no, Mega Garchomp would be utterly outrageous, pardon the pun. And, yeah. So, that's about it for all the Megas in their generation of origin. And now, if you like start cluttering all the Megas together, like you have all the Gen 1 Megas and Gen 2, that's where it really goes off the rails, gets wild. I mean, the Mega Charizards are obviously the biggest ones. You know, and then Mega Houndoom. I mean, no, Mega T-Tar in Gen 3 is just uber, obviously. that's so obviously too much for the game. So it'd be more like T-Tar plus, you know, Mega whatever from the first two generations. I mean, I think Mega Charizard Y probably gets axed in general, but like once it gets Drought, then I mean, hello, absolutely not in any of the generations. You know, and then you bring like Mega, I don't know, Mega Manectric is pretty cool in Gen 4 once it gets Flamethrower and Overheat. That's interesting. And, you know, Mega Aggron getting actual Steel Stab is nice. Gardevoir, of course. But, yeah, I can't really see... Like, the Mega Lotties would not be in OU. For sure. And then, yeah, all of these in Gen 5, I mean... Mega Abomasnow, I mean, talk about making hail one of the weathers. You know, and then Gallade would be very cool. I mean, Terrakion is already crazy in Gen 5, and you know, you basically throw a Terrakion in there that's faster, speed ties with Latios, and isn't weak to Psychic, so it can deal with Zam better. Oh my god, and especially bulkier, of course. Yeah, Mega Absol, I think it's interesting. Once my last time saying that word, but it gets worth exploring once it gets to Gen 5, because then it gets Magic Bounce. And that's when it goes from, like, kind of dumb. I mean, in Gen 4, it's already better, much better, because it has Night Slash, so actual Dark Stab, and Sucker Punch, and Superpower, so it's actually a great physical attacker as opposed to a completely worthless one. And then in Gen 5, once it has Magic Bounce, then that's particularly outrageous, so... Yeah, what else is worth mentioning? Mawile, once the physical special split kicks in and gets Sucker Punch, I think that probably doesn't I don't know about Uber, but definitely worth a lot more, even with just that mono steel typing. And, you know, just having Stab Ironhead is already going to be a big step up. Yeah, the lower tiers definitely get shaken up a lot. Mega Medicham, I mean, even worse. Like, it even gets, like, Bullet Punch in Gen 4, so, yeah. Sceptile gets much better once it gets, like, actual stabs, like Leaf Storm and Dragon Pulse, to say nothing of Coverage and Focus Blast. Mega Swampert, Mega Swampert would actually probably be more controversial once it was able to use Swift Swim, Water Boosted Stab off its physical attack stat in Gen 4. I mean, can you imagine Weather Wars in Gen 4 if you got Politoed setting up permanent rain for Mega Swim? Well, I guess Swift Swim got banned in general, so never mind. But yeah, just as a whole, it's just so much more monstrosities to throw around here. Yeah, and Mega Heracross, obviously, Mega Heracross, once it hits Gen 3 and gets SD and an actual Fighting Stab and Brick Break and Rock Slide to boot for coverage, oh my god, that's horrifying. You know, Scizor, oh my, how did I not mention Scizor? Scizor would be utterly insane in Gen 4 once it got, you know, U-Turn and Bullet Punch. You know, basically Scizor is already a great Pokemon in Gen 4 and pretty good in Gen 5, and, you know, you basically upgrade that, you give it a power boost without having to hold Life Orb and have recoil, you make it so much bulkier, and it's just utterly insane. What else is that? Who is texting me? Is this important? That can wait. Yeah, Mega Sableye also gets stupid, I think, once Gen 5 comes in and Magic Bounce kicks in. Most of the others that I'm looking at are just still more like UU, or maybe not even UU, but like just more BL, not really affecting standard play. Then there's the obvious Ubers, of course, you know, like Mega Mewtwo is just going to be absurd. I like the idea of Mega Steelix. I think Steelix is actually already a pretty good Pokemon in Gen 4. Houndoom, definitely a big step up in Gen 3. I'd like to see that. Yeah, Ampharos is cool too once it gets Dragon Pulse for stab. It's still, you know, it has, you know, very awkward speed, and, you know, the typing doesn't always do it a lot of favors. You know, especially because these generations are getting faster and stronger. So the, you know, the big before there are generations that are just overflowing with switch moves like Gen 5 and 6 with like U-Turn and Volt Switch. absolutely everywhere, then it's not going to be as easy to get these big guns on the field. So their low speed and lack of defensive utility, and lack of recovery is going to stand out more than most. But I mean, this is very much a theory, and we're not exactly 100% on how this would go. These are complete unknowns. So not literally, of course. Yeah. Slowbro. I think once Slowbro gets Slack off, Mega Slowbro, it's a very good Pokemon. Calm Mind and all that. Mega Arrow is actually going to be very, very nasty once it gets actual stab. In Gen 3, Mega Arrow, good lord. Rock Slide and Rock Slide, EQ, HP Bug Double, probably just the same set, yeah. I don't think much changes there. Oh, of course, DD Mega Gyarados becomes absolutely heinous once the physical special split kicks in. I think it would probably be pretty good in Gen 3 too, even though it doesn't have physical stab, because it doesn't have. I mean, yes, it's losing to Sand, but it removes its huge Thunderbolt weakness, and its huge boost in attack makes up for one of the biggest problems Gen 3 Gyarados has, which is a lack of power. And with once you jump up to whatever it is, base 180 or whatever, 180, 155, then suddenly you are really putting the fear of death in a lot of things after a boost. So it would be much more effective. And then I think once abilities kick in and Mega Gengar gets Shadow Tag in Gen 3, that's the most obvious Uber ever. It might even kick up some controversy about it in Ubers itself. Who cares that it doesn't have stab? It's just Shadow Tag on that Pokemon. Are you kidding me? No, that's idiotic. Yeah. Pidgeot not going to be doing much until maybe Gen 5, but even then, it's Pidgeot. That typing just does not do it favors. It's not going to be. I mean, that's speed, I guess. If it's, it's kind of like Tornadus Therian in Gen 5, but it's not regenerating, so you could say, oh, this is a reasonable thing to have, but I don't know. The lack of Focus Blast really hurts it. Mega Pinsir definitely has some stuff going for it, but I think it's just going to be too hindered. But I think it'd be best in Gens 2 and 3. That's where it's really, that speed stat is going to shine, and, there's not Stealth Rock bothering it. So, yeah. And Mega Kanga also, I think, is going to be less impressive as time goes on. In Gen 2, it'd still be insane because of the whole, Snorlax factor. But once Gen 3 comes around and Sand and Skarmory spiking everywhere and Gengar Will-O-Wisping, I think it's a lot less. Although not to say that it wouldn't have some use. And Mega Zam, oh my god, Mega Zam I think might just get maybe not Ubers in Gen 2, but it'd be really stupid in Gen 2. You'd definitely start thinking about it. Umbreon on every team is not healthy. And then Gen 3 I think it would just be outrageous. I mean, it's how fast again? 150? Yeah, 150 with that. No, I think Gen 3, once everything no longer has maxed out bulk, is when you say, okay, this is not. And Gen 4, and once you get Focus Blast, and yeah, I think Mega Zam would definitely be a little much. Okay, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and watching or listening, I guess. And in the next one, we will probably go over the regional forums. And I will see you in whatever the next one winds up being.